Bob McKenzie has released his final draft rankings. What players should be available for the Sharks? Plus, answers to your Sharks-related questions on this episode, live episode of Locked On Sharks.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, contributor at San Jose Hockey Now. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first, or since we're doing this live, maybe your second listen of the day. Proudly a part of the Locked On Network. We cover your team every day. And if you want to be an everydayer, all you got to do is just follow along wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well. And if you're watching on YouTube right now, I really appreciate you hanging out. I know it's the mid to end of the second round of the NBA draft, but we have our own draft that we have been preparing for. So before we get into tonight's show and kind of talk about Bob McKenzie's list, players who are going to be available there, kind of where everyone kind of stacks up, and then, of course, answer some of your questions. Do want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you guys by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. So Bob McKenzie released his final list. So this is kind of where he thinks players are going to be. If you don't know who Bob McKenzie is, Bob McKenzie, the Bobfather, he is kind of like the dude when it comes to kind of like the drafts, NHL draft, and kind of the ranking of the players, because he talks to teams. He pulls 10 different teams, kind of I think the head of their scouting, or if not very high ranking scouts on 10 of these teams, and gets how they basically have them kind of stacked up, and he puts everything together, and that's kind of the ranking. So this is a good litmus test for what we should expected to see come Wednesday night. Players who kind of should be in that range, because we are getting it from at least basically a third of the NHL, kind of where they are kind of stacking guys. So of course, we'll kind of go through. We'll go through the top 10 here, kind of look at where everybody kind of ranks here, and then we'll look at the guys who should be around, at least available in the neighborhood for the Sharks at 26 and 36, and kind of just some fun stuff like that. So yeah, number one, Connor Bedard, of course. He said basically all 10 the scouts ranked Connor Bedard number one. No choice, nothing new there. So we know Connor Bedard is going one. He's been going one since basically he kind of broke onto the scene. So number two, Fantilli, of course, he got 9 out of 10 votes at number 2, and he is expected to be the pick for the Ducks, unless the Ducks decide to go a little crazy. But we kind of know what's going to happen there. So number 3 is one Leo Carlsson. So he got he's third on the list of 7 out of the 10 scouts ranked. Of course, with his a quote unquote man's frame commitment to the game all over the ice. Comparisons to Barkov, we with Carlsson. So there is a chance that that they do pick Will Smith, but if I was a betting man, I would say it's probably Leo Carlsson to Columbus, unless they want to go Smith or Michkov. But they've said they want a center. They've made it pretty clear, basically, since the draft lottery, that they're going to pick a center. And I think picking Leo Carlsson number 3 makes the most amount of sense. So number 4, of course, was Will Smith. So here's what they said about Will Smith. Team USA under 18 National Team Development Program, dynamic offensive center Will Smith, who got 6 votes at number 4, 1 at number 3, and 3 at number 5, is 4th on their list. Could he end up in San Jose? Sure, he could, but he's 4th on our list because that's what our numbers say, regardless of what the Sharks do. One scout called Smith a veritable offensive genius with the puck with all the skills and smarts to be a top line offensive center in the NHL. That's still pretty good. Offensive genius. I do like that. I want to be considered something genius at some point. That'd be fun. So number 5, of course, is, other than Bedard, is the talk of the draft, and that's Michkov. So he ranked anywhere from 2. So he got the other second place vote, 3, 4. Most of the scouts though had him at 5. And I think with him, it's not the on ice, it's everything else that goes on with him. They said that he would probably be the only prospect where the owner would have to sign off on it, just because of course, everything going on of, off the ice with Russia, all that, everything, that we've talked about before with him. So we will see with him. I honestly think the Sharks are going to go Will Smith. I know the Michkov, you get it. I would pick Michkov. I am not also GM. I don't know, it's also tough when you haven't actually been able to talk to the guy, all that fun stuff. So he is expected to be in Nashville beginning of next week, where the, teams will interview him. I assume the Sharks will probably interview him as well. All that fun stuff. So maybe if we start to hear some whispers at the beginning of the week, hey, Michkov had a good meeting with the Sharks, all that fun stuff, then kind of perk your ears up. If it's pretty quiet, I would assume the Sharks are going to go Will Smith at number 4, unless Leo Carlsson somehow it's going to be, if I had to put odds, I would say like 70% Smith, 15% Carlson, 15% Michkov. That's how I would do it right now. I think Will Smith is going to be the guy right there. So rounding out the top 10, Ryan Leonard, who I didn't do a profile on because once the Sharks kind of solidify themselves in the top 5. Ryan Leonard's, very interesting player as well. It'd be really weird if the Sharks drafted Ryan Leonard after trading his brother John Leonard like a year ago. Dvorsky was number 7, Ryan Backer number 8, Zach Benson number 9, and then Gabe Perreault number 10 to round up the top 10 there. So the Zach Benson one is going to be interesting because of his size. But somebody I think is going to get a steal with Zach Benson. I love Zach Benson. If the Sharks were picking at like 6 or 7, I would be all over the Zach Benson, pounding the table for him, because I think he's a dynamic player. I don't care about the size. I think he's just a dynamic player who's going to be very, very good going forward. So, but I think that's kind of what we pictured here. I think the Reinbacker's sneaking into the top 10. He's kind of been the guy defensively. He's not my favorite defenseman. I think I had him 3rd among the defensemen. But it'll be interesting to see. I think Reinbacker, where he, other than Michkov, which I think is the big, where he goes, I think is going to be the thing. But who's going to pull the trigger on Reinbacker and pick the first defenseman? I honestly think with Reinbacker, it starts at 6. If the Coyotes, who are in no rush, and Reinbacker, I think Reinbacker's going to be playing in the NHL in 2 seasons, or maybe not next year, but the season after. If he could be a potential there. With the Flyers, I know Danny Briere is kind of tearing things down there. Does he go, Reinbacker as his first pick, try to kind of solidify that defense? I know they've thrown some assets at it recently, but I think Reinbacker, though, him and Michkov, where they land is going to be two of the big stories going into the draft on Wednesday, and kind of where those guys land, because we just don't see drafts where a defenseman isn't picked, usually in the top 5. But I think this year with such the quality at the top, I think the defenseman kind of gets pushed down a little bit. So, but yeah, before we continue though, we talk about the guys who are going to be in that kind of 25 to 40 range, and some of the names that kind of stand out. Do need to take a quick break. Talk to you guys about our good friends over at Birddogs. So you guys know it is now summer, officially summer. You want to kind of show off the legs, show off that tan you've been working on. You want some soft, comfortable, versatile shorts. Birddogs, the way to go. Stretch khaki shorts are designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and leg, give you a truly sculpted look. They do everything Lululemon does, but fit way better. I really like you have the built-in underwear. You don't have to worry about kind of chafing or stickiness or things kind of sticking together. Plenty of room to breathe. They use anti-stick wicking fabric to keep you cool and dry all day long. And like I said, versatile. I'm taking it with me to Nashville. I'm going, I'm doing plenty of stuff with the wife. I'm going to be meeting some friends. I think Birddogs are going to cover everything I need to do while I'm in Nashville while making me look good. And, hopefully not too many people, call out the legs. But I don't have the high inseams, but, I'm not I'm not comfortable in my own skin with the high inseams. But if that's what you want to do, they got you covered there as well. So go to birddogs.com/LockedOnNHL. Get a free Yeti tumbler with your order. That's birddogs.com/LockedOnNHL for a free Yeti-style tumbler. You won't want to take off your Bird Dogs. We promise you. All right, and if you guys haven't already, go ahead and start leaving some comments in there. That way I can start answering your questions when we get to the last segment if you're watching on YouTube. If not, I will, I'll just kind of talk about the draft and what I'm looking forward to. So don't make me talk to myself any longer than I already have to. So let's dig into the guys who are going to kind of be there near the end. So we'll start with 23. So Mikhail Gulyev, who we just did a draft profile on. He's ranked 23. Edward Sale at 24. Quentin Musty at 25. Theo Lindstein, which was pretty interested to see him. Elite prospects, I think, has him ranked like 74. Basically, the lowdown on him is he's kind of a solid defenseman, more kind of defensively, kind of more of a little bit more of a defensive defenseman. He makes steady plays. He's not very flashy, but kind of like he's going to be a bottom pairing, maybe for your fourth defenseman type of guy. I don't think he has the highest upside, but you kind of know what you're getting type of player out of him. So out of Sweden, he's 6 foot, 185 pounds, has played already 32 games in the SHL, which is, he's already playing in a men's league. So maybe he can find his offensive game, but I think he is just kind of a stay at, a good solid defenseman who can, maybe a little bit of a puck transporter, but I don't think he's gonna be a flashy offensive player. So Andrew Cristall at 27, interesting to see where he goes, because if he can fix his skating, you're getting a top line player. I know he's 5'9", 175 pounds, but dynamic offensive player. I don't see Mike Greer pulling the trigger there. We'll see. 28, Oliver Bonk. I can totally see Mike Greer picking Oliver Bonk at 26 if he's there. That, again, you guys know me, very much in the defenses for nerds, but I do like Oliver Bonk, and I think if you're going to be a defensive defenseman, be very, very good at it. And I think he has a chance to be very, very good defensive defenseman, going forward. So, and he's, 6 foot, 180 pounds. So he's, basically the same size as Lindstein, but I know Lindstein's playing in the SHL already, and Bonk's going to be playing in the CHL for the next couple of years. But so, kind of take your pick there between those two. Ethan Gauthier, kind of the only guy in the queue. He's at 29. Gavin Brindley, who I do love a lot, and I would 1000% draft Gavin Brindley, just because I know he's small with the 5'8", but that compete, and we know Mike Greer, he wants that competitiveness, and Gavin Brindley does not stop. And yes, I would probably go Gavin Brindley at 26 if he's available. So then you have Will Smith, Gavin Brindley, and then there's going to be some defensemen that we'll be talking about here in a second. Out of the kind of the guys in this range, Gavin Brindley is the guy I would lean to. Again, I know he's 5'8", but he plays a big game for being 5'8". He competes. He plays hard. He helped him when him and Fantilli got together. That's when you really saw both of their games take off. Yeah, Gavin Brindley, and he was a monster in the NCAA tournament as well for Michigan. So it seemed like when the lights got bigger, he played his best, and just one of those kind of gamer guys. So sign me up for Gavin Brindley. So Bradley Nadeau at 31. I know a lot of the online scouts really like him. 5'10" winger. Does play in the BCHL, so there's kind of a little bit that with plan to play in a little bit of a lesser league. Riley Height, center for Prince George at 32. Maxim Strovic, defenseman out of the USHL, 6'1", 198 pounds. Charlie Stramel, center winger for Wisconsin at 34, 6'3", 222. I could also see Mike Greer going. That feels very Mike Greer too. Then you have a couple defensemen here. So Lucas Dragisevich at 35, and then Tanner Molendijk at 36. Very interesting to see there because I mean it's very kind of polar opposites. As my friend Halfwall Hockey knows in the comments right now, Dragisevich go do offensive things, and Molendijk I think is going to be way more defensively oriented. Halfwall did mention about his ability to defend the transition, and he's already one of the kind of the best. He's one of the best prospects and defensive prospects at doing that. But Dragisevich does have the go score and go do things. So I would assume Molendijk would probably get the nod if from my career between those two. David Edstrom, a center at 37. Casper Holleton, winger from who's 6'3", and then the first goalie Michael Hrabal at 39. The next goalie I think where was he ranked? Then we had a couple goalies around 60. My boy Bo Akey was 61. And then Trey Augustine, 63. So you have kind of 3 goalies within 5 spots. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Sharks don't pick a goalie with one of those 3 picks. I would not be surprised if they packaged up a few of their, if they're a 3rd round pick and maybe a 4th round pick to try to move up to the end of the 2nd round, beginning of the 3rd round type of thing. And try to get one of these goalies, especially if they fall. The Sharks are walking away with a goalie in this draft. I put it down. They're gonna be walking away with the goalie in this draft. It's just how much are they willing to kind of invest into it? I think they're going to. I wouldn't be surprised if they're aggressive to try to move up to the back end of the 2nd, beginning of the 3rd, to try to get one of these guys here. So, yeah. So again, I think it's going to be Smith, defenseman, maybe, especially if one of those defensemen falls. Willander is kind of the guy I was hoping would fall a little bit, but I don't think that's going to happen. I really like Willander, and I think that feels like a Mike Greer pick, but he's ranked 20th, and you never know, maybe at 26, but I think someone's going to talk themselves into Willander or Simishev. But again, I think those guys are going to be long gone by the time the Sharks pick at 26. So if I had to guess what I think Mike Greer does, I'll give you my picks here in a little bit, but if I do guess, just kind of based off the rankings here, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Bonk at 26. And then a guy like Edstrom or Stramel at 36. I think they would probably go Smith, Bonk, and then Stramel or Edstrom. Kind of that's a pretty solid draft, I think. If you're starting there, that would be those are my guesses what I think Mike Greer will do there. So before I start answering some of your questions, need to take a quick break. Talk to you guys about our friends over at Gametime. And I know with summer here, you're trying to go do more stuff. Maybe you want to go see the Giants, the Red Hot Giants. I know they lost today, but had won 10 straight before that. Maybe you want to go to there's plenty of concerts, go catch a comedy show, whatever you want to do. You need to get tickets. Gametime is there to help. They've got killer deals on last minute tickets and their best price guarantee. So you can stop stressing over the tickets and start getting hyped for the fun you'll have flash deals and last minute tickets, which are great. They have images of the seat views. I used it. My wife wanted to go to Ed Sheeran. He's playing at Levi's in September. Got her some tickets for her birthday, which is coming up. I was looking on there. I saw some seats. I saw some better, I was like, oh, these are pretty cool. And then I started kind of looking around at some of the different seats. Saw some better seats that were just a little bit more. Grab those. And the nice thing is, if I go on there and I see the seats in the same section or the same row for less, they'll credit me with 110% of the difference between now and the time of the show. So, and they also send you the tickets directly to your phone, so you don't have to go digging through your emails to try to find them. So go download the Gametime app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Terms apply. Gametime. So again, download the same Gametime. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And if you haven't been checking out, we also have our Locked On NHL mock draft. So picks 1 through 10 came out on Wednesday. Then they had the second round, or I think it was 10 or 11 through 21 came out on Thursday. And then the end of the draft is going to be coming out on Friday. So go check that out on the Locked On NHL show, wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube. We all made our picks. I picked Michkov with pick number 4. Go see who I picked at pick number 26, and tell me how you would feel about that, because I would feel pretty excited if the Sharks did what I did. So, all right, let's answer some of your questions. So, Christopher Lindsay putting out a Sharks PSA. If the Sharks draft Smith over Michkov, they're still getting a great prospect. Don't hate the Smith pick. Also, Sharks, they're going to interview Michkov. Again, like I said, again, it's not like they're picking some, like, if it's Smith, it's not like they're picking some like third line grinder guy who's, Will Smith in most drafts, Will Smith would probably be talked about as a potential second pick in the draft type of things. So, yes, I understand the Michkov's going to be very good. I understand also that there's a lot of red flags with it. So it's not us who gets fired. You're not getting fired from your fandom if you're picking Michkov. Like, it's, there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. So yeah. Sean Pierce would love the swing on Crystal. Lots of value in the picks from last year's draft, so be good with the big swing. Yeah, and that is, I talked with Brock Otten, and that pick at 26, you should take a massive swing, because if it doesn't work out, guess what? Will Smith is probably going to work out for you. If it doesn't work out, that's okay, because you're still getting something that's going to most likely work out for you, especially with 2 picks in the first round. If they both work out for you, you look like a genius type of thing. And skating, yes, I know there's issues with the skating, but like that I think comes down to just how much, is the player working to improve it. And I think the Sharks, you look at a guy like Kevin Labanc. I know Kevin Labanc was a 6th round pick, but definitely improved his skating along the way. And a lot of times with smaller players, their skating sucks because they're just not strong enough. And as he continues to kind of grow and develop, I think the skating will improve. So he would be fun. So yeah, I definitely, Crystal, if they get him at 26, you're talking Will Smith, Crystal, and then a defenseman at 36, sign me up type of situation. That's a fun draft. So, all right. Yep. Half full. I think half full are on the same page here. Molendyk feels way more like a Greer pick. I assume that was between the Molendyk Dragicevic picks. Yeah, I think between the two, Molendyk is definitely the guy. So if I had to rank kind of the like Bonk, Molendyk, Dragicevic, I think Bonk is the most Greer pick. Molendyk is number 2, and then I would say Dragicevic, but that's just my gut feeling on that. So yeah, and then that's the thing. We could be looking at a potential Erik Karlsson trade too with this draft, and then if you're getting a pick in the middle of the draft or something or another, yeah, you might have some ammo type of here. And spoiler, Monday, going to be laying out my outline for the Sharks, what I would do this offseason. So Monday's episode is that the trades I would make. the free agents I would sign, the draft picks I would make, or I think that they're going to make. So that's what I would do. That's going to be on Monday's episode. And yeah, Erik Karlsson. I'd trade Erik Karlsson. So find out who I trade him to. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see what else you guys have. All right. Oh, this is good. So my dream picks at 26 and 36. I would not take a goal. And then Brian Huang, sorry if I screwed up your last name, asks, what are your dream picks at 26 and 36? And should the Sharks take Hrabal or Augustine? We'll start with the goalies. So I wouldn't take Hrabal at 26 or 36. Like I said earlier, I would trade up and take some of the, because you have multiple fourth round picks, right? You have a late third round pick. You have multiple picks in the package, some of those up and try to get, instead of the quantity at the back end of the draft, I would try to get a quality player in those picks. And a guy like Augustine, especially if he falls a little bit, if he falls out of the second round, I would be aggressively trying to move up to go get Augustine. I think Augustine is going to be a great goalie. So that's what I would do. But my dream picks at 26 and 36, going off Bob McKenzie's list. Again, I think Chris Dahl would be really, really fun. If a Willander or Guliev slide, I would be all over that. Like I said, Gavin Brindley, I know he's small, but that dude, man, when the lights turn on, that dude plays. And I think he's going to, I know he's small. I know there's that worry, but I think he's going to be an NHL player. And give me that guy who just does not say die. And I think that's what Gavin Brindley is. So please, well, yeah, that's who I would pick. And then defenseman, like I said, I like Dragicevic. Isn't going to be the Sharks pick there. So, give me, if Bonk is there at 36, I'm totally fine with that. Molendyke at 36, like I said, I'm totally fine with that. That's what I would do. I would take Smith, assuming they take Smith, I would take Smith, and then I would take a swing on one of those guys like Brindley or Chris Dahl and hope that they hit, type of thing. So, yep. All right. What would it take for the Sharks getting so Smith and Pro in the same would be stupid amazing. So it would take you pick wise. So if you pick trade 26 and 36, you're getting probably around 14, 15, right? Which is the Penguins pick. So if Perot slides a little bit, that's where you could maybe talk yourself into it. And then, you're just like, cool. We have Will Smith and Gabe Perreault. We know exactly what they're doing. We know how they play together. Just going to keep them stapled together. And we'll see you guys in the NHL in 2 years, type of thing. If he slides out of the top 10, then you can start to maybe kind of see it. But, if not, you'd have to trade. Yeah, you'd have to trade a player or type of thing. And it's like, who's at 10? I think was it the Blues at 10, right? Bordelot, maybe. I'm not trading Bordelot. I know last year was the end of last year kind of left a sour taste, but I think it's just a long season. The player we saw at the beginning of the season, I think we'll continue to see that. So, Ricky says, I'm trading this draft. I'm sure they're going to mess it up 100%, like passing on Michkov, passing on Chris Dahl, etc. Like, again, Will Smith is not some third-line dude. Like, Michkov, yes, I understand Michkov. Michkov is potentially a Hall of Fame player. I totally get that. But I totally get the red flags from the Sharks' perspective of, like, what if he just never comes over? And I know he says he wants to come over to the NHL, but, like, what if he never comes over? What if he just doesn't want to play for the Sharks? What if he's kind of made it clear, like, I don't want to play for you guys? That you don't have a lot of choice as a draft prospect, and you have to kind of wield whatever little bit of flexibility, whatever leverage you have, and so we'll see. Again, it's not like Will Smith's some sort of like third line grinder type of player. Like Will Smith is a dynamic offensive player. Yes, he needs to work on his defense. So does every 17 and 18-year-old kid. And he knows that. That's what he said he's going to be working on the most when he gets to college. So we'll answer one or two more here. So let's see. Edwards said, I really get the sense that this he didn't fit the Sharks' vision, and he didn't want to be part of this system, focusing on goalie size. So, with Gaudreau, I think he's talking about Gaudreau. Yeah, and Gaudreau didn't have the greatest numbers, to be honest. So, we'll see. We'll see what they do there with Gaudreau, and I feel bad. I really like Gaudreau. He was a really fun interview. Seemed like a really nice guy. Getting to talk to him. Sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once here. But like the Sharks have, I don't know, their goalies are a hot mess, and like all their prospect goalies just kind of feel like a hot mess right now. So we'll see. So even with like, yeah, we'll see what they do with the goalie. So, yeah, I think that's going to be it tonight for that. I think I kind of answered most of your questions. If not, so next time you guys hear from me, I'll be in Nashville. So yes, I'm flying out Saturday. I will be at the award show. So you're going to have an episode after the award show with probably, fingers crossed, hopefully some footage of Erik Karlsson winning his Norris. Erik Karlsson at the podium talking about winning his Norris. Hopefully I have some footage from there. I'm going to do my best there. So I'll be at the award show. I'll be at both days of the draft with the media fully credentialed. So I'll be in the media scrum with all that stuff, getting you guys clips from all the new Sharks prospects, all that fun stuff. So, yeah, like I said, Monday, I'm going to lay out my vision, what I would do if I was Mike Grier, kind of what I think is at least my game plan for this offseason to kind of, spoiler, I'm going to be trading people away. Setting the table for future success is what I'm going to be doing on Mondays. So you're going to want to follow along wherever you get podcasts. And of course, subscribe on YouTube. Plenty of stuff coming next week. There's going to be live reaction from the first round after each pick. There's a little 5-minute clipping station that we do. Plus, I will be doing a full recap when I get home. Full recap after the Thursday or Wednesday night, and then we'll full recap after the draft on Thursday, and then Saturday is free agency. So plenty of stuff. So guys, make sure you're following along. If you're watching on YouTube and you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. That's the best way. If you want to help me, that's the best way you can help me out is by subscribing on YouTube, watching, liking, commenting, all that fun stuff. So again, be back on Monday. My path to the Sharks off season from Nashville. So until then, bye friends.